Okay, let's take a look at the properties associated with the video object. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my properties pane here and select my video object, and you'll see there's a series of properties here which are basically the same as the objects we've looked at so far, and then there's a series which are different. So first let's take a look at the ones which are the same. So for example, in the attributes area here we have the same highlight sound and click sound that we have associated with other objects such as the label object, button object, paragraph object, and so forth. So those react to the user's mouse, and we've got the custom cursor option as well as the enabled and visible option, so we can set our video object to be invisible if we like by default, and then later use an action to activate it. And we've also got the ability to resize and reposition our object numerically, as always here in the Attributes tab. Okay, now if you look in the Actions area here, actually there's a little surprise because we've got the normal stuff, the on-click, on-enter, and on-leave events. So these react to the user's mouse at runtime when they click on your video or mouse over your video, etc. And we've also got now 4 additional states, and these are related to video events. So we've got the on-play, on-pause, on-stop, and on-finish events, and basically we can attach any series of actions we like to any of those events. So for example, when this video is finished, if we would like it to jump to another page in our project, we could attach a page jump action to the on-finish event, and so forth. Okay, so let's take a look at the options up in the top here. As you can see, you've got your normal options here to select the file and name your object. So we could rename this if we like to My Video. And then we've got some new options here. We've got a stage color, so we can set this to anything we like. In this case, I'll set it to white, and depending on what scaling mode you're using for your video, again, much like the flash object, this is going to be that matte area around your video. Okay, so if you want to leave it to black, it will blend in with your video, or if you want to set it to the background color of your page. And a lot of this is going to depend on whether you're using a slider transport with your video object or not. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at some of the other options here. So we've got the Autostart and Lube feature, the same with the Flash movie. Again, you may want your video to auto-start, you may not want your video to auto-start. It might depend. You know, on your first frame you might have an actual image or something that's an advertisement for your company, and you may not want that video to auto-start until people click on it. So you can go ahead and test these features out and see how they work for your scenario. In our case, we had ours set to auto start, so we'll leave that, and we will set it to loop actually at this point. Okay, now let's look at the scaling modes. Much like the flash object, we've got stretch and non-stretch options here. So for example, when we use the stretch option, that's the same as using the exact fit option for the flash object. So it's going to stretch your video and basically distort it to fit into whatever area the bounding box is taking up. And in this case, if we use the maintain aspect option, that's going to maintain the aspect ratio of your original video. So if I was to size my object up now, you would see the video stretch out until it met the outside of the bounding box. If I size it past that, you'll see the video maintain its size as the bounding box extends. Okay? So that's what maintain aspect does. I'm going to move this into the center here. And we've got a border option here, which we have set to false. I'm going to go ahead and set it to true, and you can see it just sets a border around it here. So that's kind of handy if you're displaying something right on white like this. And we've got a control panel option. Okay, so now you can see that we've got a variety of options available, like we did with the paragraph object with custom skins. And you can actually, once again, create custom skins for your video objects. Okay, so I'm just scrolling through a few of them here. Here's the Euro option. That one's kind of nice. Or you can actually go with no controller at all, like this. For example, if I take the border off and set it to auto start and loop, you can see here you get just the video alone with no controls at all. And of course they would still have the controls related with a right clicking on it and so forth. But at any rate, you can go ahead and shut the control panel right off, or use any combination of these custom control panels, or create your own control panels. Okay, and it's much the same as the paragraph object, and the same basic way to go about that. Okay, we've got a panel color option here, and that's the panel in behind the scroll bar here. We can actually set this to any color we want. In this case, I'm going to set it to white. That looks kind of nifty. And we've got the text color, and that's going to pertain to whatever text is in here. In this case, your time display. And I'm going to set that to this color of red. And we've got the option for the buttons, true or false. In this case, we can have the slider object without the buttons by setting the buttons to false and setting the slider to true. So you basically have different options here for your time display, for your slider display, and for your buttons display. Okay? So you can go ahead and fool around with those and see what you like best for your scenario. So those are the properties of the video object. Let's go ahead and take a look at the video actions in the next tutorial.